Hey everybody, it's your girl Jane V, also known as the CommonSenseDiva, and I am here with another review, and this review is Married at First Sight, Season 12, Episode 10, Atlanta. And they've been married now for about 3 weeks, and so we're starting to see some changes, we're starting to see some vulnerability, and we're starting to see some real growth in some. But anyway, let's get started. So we're just gonna take a couple by couple just to give you a recap of where they are and where I see they're going and things like that. So first we have Haley and Jacob. Now, the bottom line for me is that Haley's just not into him. She's not attracted to him, and she even said herself, if this was not this situation, I would have been out. And I totally get where she's coming from, because she's probably feeling very suffocated, very like boxed in, because she's such a free spirit in the sense of she likes to travel, she likes to be with her friends, she likes to make connections, and with Jacob is just stunted. And I just can't help but feel that even though Jacob wants to do what she asked him to do, and he does do according to her, he will do what she wants him to do, it's still just that feeling of that connection is not there, that natural intimacy is not there, and she's just not into it. So at this point, he could give her the Hope Diamond, and she's gonna be like, that's nice, and that's it, because she just wants to feel that attraction physically, and I'm sure in other ways as well. And so this week, Dr. Viviana came in and she met with all the couples, and so she's just having ideas of where the couples are in their relationship. And so at the end of the day, the bottom line is just Haley's not into him. They're not sleeping together. They have no physical intimacy. They pretty much go throughout their ways doing what they have to do in their daily lives. But it's literally like putting a square peg in a round hole. You're trying to force it, and while you're forcing it, it's not happening. It's not going in, and it's just not getting the results. But with Dr. Viviana, she spoke to them and she asked them, she was like, so listen, do you guys want this? Like, do you want to work at it? And you can see that, Haley gets very emotional when she talks about it, and I think she really wants it, and she's probably a little bit upset, like, why they give me this guy, and I can't feel it with him, and I want to feel it with him, but I can't force myself, because that is the worst feeling, trying to force yourself into a feeling that's not natural. I just think that is one of the worst experiences, because you can lie to yourself, been there, done that, and you'll have this overall picture of, no, it's going good, it's great, everything's amazing, but deep down in the inside, there's like that thing like, it's something here, I can't put my finger on it all the time, but I'm not really into this. But child, for the sake of the show, they are going to now try to work it out. So Dr. Viviana said, well, listen, we could build intimacy. Let's just go into the bedroom. So they went into the bedroom, and that's when I realized and found out that they had not been sleeping together. So, they get in the bedroom, they, say we're gonna give each other a kiss goodnight, a kiss good morning, and sleep in the same bed. So as far as we could see, they did take that first step of sleeping in the bed together. The good thing is their sleeping patterns are the same, so they both like to sleep in the dark. They both like it to be cold. I like that too, when it's like cool, and then you snuggle up under your covers. And then Jacob was like, oh, so no spooning? Haley was like, no, no spooning, no nothing. And he didn't brush his teeth, so there definitely wasn't any kissing. And that makes me think he didn't really want to maybe kiss either. Maybe he feels a little weird about that as well. And there's also been a lot of arguing as well, we found out. So, it's almost kind of like you have to start from the ground up. But then you ever notice that there are people in your life, right? Say family members. And if it wasn't for the fact that they were family members, they probably wouldn't be your friends. That's how I feel like this is. If we wasn't on this show, if they didn't match us, if they didn't put us together, I wouldn't be here. You would not even be somebody I would hang out with a little bit, because even though they're not super far in age, it seemed like they're worlds apart, because Jacob is into like the 80s, and we all know the things that he's into, and Haley is just like, what is this? Like, there's not even a common ground we can stand on. So, so far, at least they're taking the steps, because they both said they want to be married. They really want to work at this. So just the fact that they're in the bed together, that is a first step. So good on you guys for, taking that first step. So next we're gonna talk about Eric and Virginia. I finally got her name right. I've been calling her Victoria for these last few reviews, but her name is Virginia. And the one thing I love about them, because one of my love languages, one of my top love languages is physical touch. And I just love, I always zone into that. Like when I see a couple is very touchy, I know some people is like, ugh, I don't want nobody touching me like that, but I'm here for it. I'm loving it. And I just love their intimacy as far as physical touch. So, you know, one part of the episode, they were just talking about, you know, it's like that ongoing conversation just about like trust and things of that nature. And you know, I guess at the beginning they were talking about passwords and passcodes and this and that and blah, da, 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 but very, very surface for the most part, until Dr. Viviana came in and she had a chance, you know, to talk to them. And she was just saying, you know, and they physical touch, so they're sitting close together, they're having a conversation. And Eric already told her last week that he loves her. She said she loves him. And you know, Virginia feels like there's different levels of love. And this episode, we really got a chance to delve in and just to see where they're at. Because again, very surface, very, you know, I love you, blah, 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 hold hands, hug, kiss, whatever. But what's really going on? And so when Dr. Viviana was like, well, how deep are you going? And you know, they were both like, well, you know, it's going so good, we don't want to mess it up. Because keep in mind, it's only been 3 weeks, so that technically is the honeymoon stage still. So they had a chance to chit chat with Dr. Viviana and let her know that, you know, there are things that we probably want to know more, but we just not talking about it. And one of the things that came up is that Eric was saying that he is just, you know, he's military. It seemed like he has one way of thinking and he doesn't think about anything else. And they didn't get super specific, but Virginia is more like into social issues. She's probably a social justice warrior. Who knows? We don't know what her causes are, what she stands for, but Eric sounds like he's not even thinking about that. And that just puts me in the mind of a cis white male, you know, who has a lot of privilege, and you just are concerned about the things you're concerned about, but you're not concerned about other things that people outside of your cis white genderness, you know, is into or going through. You have no idea. And so Virginia is just like, you know, she sounds like she's steadfast on what she believes. And so then Dr. Viviana was just like, well, what if you have kids? Like, what are you gonna do? And then Virginia was like, I don't know if I want kids. You know, and Eric was like, well, listen, I ain't gonna be around if you ain't trying to have kids. I'm not trying to have kids at 75. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, so you know, they had that conversation. And then later on in, I guess that day or the next day, you know, Virginia, Lord, the names. Virginia set up a little nice little setup for Eric. You know, she had the fruit. She had the bed made up really nice. She looked really good or whatever. And before we even go on today, let me just talk about this real quick. I like the fact that even though this is a reality show, it's a little more real to me than most reality shows. And the reason why I say that is, you know, these cameras now in 5D, 5H, 5K, whatever they are, and you are seeing all the imperfection. Ain't no filters, because Virginia, you know, her skin is not perfect. You know, Paige's skin is not perfect. And then I love the fact that they're just giving you whatever makeup they put on in their bathroom, and that was it. So no one's, because you know, some of the reality shows, the girls are beat for the guards, the hair is slayed for the guards, the edges is laid for the guards. This is like real. This is like real. Like, these people look like people you can know. These could be your neighbors. These could be your friends. And I really do appreciate the fact that and then everyone's not like a 6-pack. Every girl's not a size 2. It's like really more realistic than a lot of reality shows. Of course, we know there is always the producer manipulation and the show manipulation, but in terms of what they actually present to us, I like the fact that it is real, you know, because it is giving you a more realistic feel about who these people really are. So Virginia, you know, she had a little setup for Eric, and then they had a chance to talk and really get more vulnerable. And this is where this really made my heart really happy, and it warmed me up a little bit, because, you know, Virginia talked about the fact that, you know, I saw a lot of fighting. My parents broke up. I stopped talking to my father. My mother just left. I had to stay with an aunt. And she said, and this is why I'm not so keen on having children, because I don't want them to go through that. And then Eric talks about the cheating. He said he's never cheated, but he's been in relationships where every relationship someone cheated on him. And you know, listening to the two of them, it just reminded me of, like, you know, it's always a reason. There's always a reason why people are just not born like that. You're not born being afraid of cheating. You're not born being afraid of having children. Usually something happened in your life that made you the way you are. And I really believe that in a lot of situations, I mean, this situation is really unique because you're literally marrying a stranger, but even in real life relationships, you got to ask some questions. You got to dig deep. You got to go beyond the surface. You got to be like, so what happened at 2? You know, you got to go through everything in your life because you need to know why a person is the way they are. No one is, like, a narcissist has a background. A sociopath has a background. A person who lets themselves get used has a background. Like, everyone has a beginning story of why they are the way they are. And just the fact that, you know, they both, like, came to that resolution. And then even Virginia was saying, you know, like, I know you all into me now and you all this, but this is still the honeymoon stage and I wonder if it's gonna fade. And you know, that's real because up until now, you know, I haven't heard Virginia express that. I haven't heard her say, like, you know, I'm a little afraid. Like, this could, you know, like, what's good with this? This could, you know, fade away. And are you still gonna be into me? Are you still gonna be willing to make this work? So, you know, that's the way we ended it with them. And I just love the fact that, again, these people are being really vulnerable. They're really exposing who they are. Like, I know this is amazing. We got married, kiki, haha, but this is really who I am. And this is what makes me who I am. So hopefully they can take it from that perspective of who they really are and then grow from there. And now we have Clara and Ryan. They are so interesting to me. It's something, I don't know, there's something about Ryan. It's just a little off to me with him. And I don't know if they're gonna show us throughout the rest of the season. I don't know if it's just, I don't know. If you guys know or you guys feel what it is, drop down in the comment section and let me know, you know, how your feelings about Ryan. But one thing I will notice, remember that little piece he had at the first, when they first got married, it was like the slick back and then the little piece, well, it looked like either he shaved that or it grew in because it's gone. So now we just got the slick back. So Clara and Ryan, the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway I got with them is that even though, again, that surface, you know, we get along, everything is great, but there's something bubbling underneath the surface, honey, like a volcano. And you know what happened when they spout out, child. So I feel like there's a lot going on beneath the surface, and I'm wondering if they're talking about it because I know Ryan is very private. He likes to do a lot of things off camera. They probably have a lot of conversations we don't know about, but it seems like in terms of that surface level, they have a nice connection, right? So Dr. Viviana came and visited them, and the bottom line is we learned that sex is very, very important to Clara, but not in an intimate way. It's just a sexual way. And I said, ooh, that sounds a lot like a man. You know, like a man could have sex and not necessarily be into you. And Clara said that's all she's known, and that lets me know that there's something deep with her as well, because, you know, typically, now I'm maybe stereotyping a little bit, but women are really not like that. You know, usually women, when, you know, I guess it's the fantasy child they done put in all of our heads, that usually with women there's a level of intimacy that goes with sex. Like, a lot of times as women can think of sex as love, you know what I'm saying? So just the fact that she's like, no, we could have sex and it, you know, it don't mean nothing. I'm like, ooh, girl. But she did say she's been in love. So maybe she just separates the two, maybe. And it could be that that's what Ryan is seeing, because Ryan is the one that pumps the brakes. But then, you know, Clara let us know they doing everything else but. Talking about, let's just go around the edge. You know, they doing everything but having sex. So it's kind of like, okay, why are we not going in? But he holds that sex up on a pedestal, and it could be maybe he's feeling Clara's vibe of just like sex is just sex. And I'm sure from what it seems like, of course, it may be a spiritual thing to him as well, but then it's also, he probably wants that intimacy as well. And like she said, which I never really understand anyway, we doing everything else. What is the difference between, you know, going the bottom line, going the furthest, especially if we've both been here before? And then Dr. Viviana said, have you ever thought about the fact that he could be lying about that he really is a virgin? And y'all know I said that. I was like, I don't know, he giving me virgin energy, because just the fact that you, because I don't know too many men that if you going that far, they're gonna be like, listen, let's go all the way, unless you're stopping as the woman. But most guys gonna be like, no child, we going all the way. So, I mean, just the fact that she is, you know, the one that wants to have it, he's the one holding back. But again, you know, we don't know, like, what he's feeling about Clara, because maybe he's feeling that nonchalant energy when it comes to sex, and maybe he wants it to mean more, because maybe to him, he's probably super vulnerable when it comes to, like, just really letting himself go to that place. So we'll see, you know, we have to see. I'm trying to think, was there anything else with those two? I think that's the main takeaway I had with them. The main takeaway I had with them is just that child, Clara want to have sex. I mean, that's the bottom line. Sex, 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 sex. There, I said it. Clara want to have sex. Ryan, get it together. So, then we have Brianna and Vincent, my faves. So this was really a good week with them. And honey, Dr. Viviana hit the nail on the head. But before, you know, she even came, they had their own little discussion. And the one thing I am liking, what I'm seeing, is that they are resolving things between the two of them. They're like, okay, we got the experts, but we're gonna resolve this between the two of us. Because you remember the previous weeks when he left and then he came back in, and then last week he got upset at the salsa lesson, and pretty much, you know, it was kind of crazy for Brianna, like, why are you know, acting like this or whatever like that. So they had to talk about it, but then Dr. Viviana came and she just put, honey, she hit the nail on the head. She hit the hammer on the nail. How that saying go? Y'all know what I mean. She got straight to the point. She was like, Vinny, the bottom line is you trying to get all that New York swag up in here, and you trying to be cool Mo-D for your wife, and that's not necessary. Like, you doing too much. You entertaining yourself, boo. You doing a lot. Like, you want it to be like, oh, everything I do good. And meanwhile, Brianna's like, yo, I just like you, dude. I just like you. All of that extra stuff you trying to do, all that extra swag you trying to put on it is not necessary. So when she said it, she was just like, Dr. Viviana was like, you don't have to do all of that. You just be you. And Brianna was like, yes, just be you. Like, I love you, period. The end. Heard. Like, you don't have to do all the extra stuff. It's not really that serious. It's not that necessary. We in this together. We in to grow. I'm gonna make mistakes. You gonna make mistakes. We don't have to be perfect. Let's try something new. Let's fall down and hurt ourselves. Let's pick ourselves back up and move on. And I just am so happy that Vinny is the type that really, really wants to make it work. And his love language is physical touch too. So I'm here for that. And so Brianna's not so much. I mean, she'll like be physical with him, but he's really more into it than her. Her love language must be something different. I have to think about that. But anyway, so then after that, you know, and they were showing physical affection right in front of Dr. Viviana, and I was loving that. And then they had some questions they had to ask, and this was funny, but it was so real. And they were like, okay, what's the one thing you could change or one thing I don't like? And she was like, when I get in the shower and the water probably go right over her head, like, what is going on? Why the water ain't hitting my body? And then it's just like, oh, because you're taller than me, but you never readjust. Now, that's something simple, but that could be annoying. It's just like, that's just like putting the toilet seat down so I don't fall in the toilet. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, listen, you probably a whole 6, 7, 8 inches taller than me. Could you just shift it down when it's my time to take a shower so the water ain't going over my head? And I guess it's the same thing for him, because he was like, because then the water was shooting down on him. So it's just like little things like that. And that's really good, because those are those little things that can make a break, because those are other things that you could be like, could you just fix this please? And then that could turn into something else. So just the fact that they knew that, okay, this is something that bothers me. Okay, let's just work on that. And that's an easy fix. But it's small, but it could grow big, but that's an easy fix. So that was good for that. And then Vinny did the little, this must have been a fruit week, because honey, Vinny had the fruit and the cheese and the carry-on for Brianna, and they played this little game, and it was a little simple game. It was like blindfold me, do this, do that, eat this, eat that. But it was simple, but I guess anything to build intimacy, to build more closeness, you know, and just to build on their relationship, because I really do like their relationship. I really do believe that they're both in it to win it, that they both want to be there, and I see good things for them. Okay, guys, so keep up the good work. So now, of course, Chris and Paige. Okay, so where we left off last week, they wanted to start, you know, fresh. Hi, my name is Chris. Hi, my name is Paige. But to be honest, Chris is just doing whatever works in the moment, especially since he knows the camera's on him. You know, this is more camera time, more popularity, more notoriety. So let me just say whatever I need to say. And we don't know if he's being encouraged from the back end to just keep it going, but it is what it is, because I thought Paige was done. And so now, here we go. So now, Chris now, Paige is meeting up with Dr. Viviana. We see her alone. She's alone in her place. You know, Chris ain't there. So, you know, she's basically saying that, you know, she hasn't heard from Chris. He hasn't really called her. She doesn't know what's going on. And Dr. Viviana's coming to meet with them. And so when Dr. Viviana comes, you know, Paige is just like, well, I'm not sure if he's coming. I guess he knows to come, but we'll see if he shows up. So Chris does come over, right? He does. Eventually he gets there. And they're just kind of real like, hey, how you doing? Hey. You know, nothing really amazing with that conversation. And Dr. Viviana came, and Dr. Viviana was basically like, Chris, you showed us a different person. The person that you are right now is the person that we did not meet during the interview process. Now, I have to admittedly tell you guys, I did not watch the episode. Maybe I have to go back to see what I could see for myself, just to see, you know, what he was presenting, and can I poke holes in it? Because, you know, the thing is, people usually, even if you are trying to front, there's always a little something that reveals who you really are. So I'm just curious to see what Chris really brought to the table, and was there any signs of deception or liosity or something going on that they could have seen, but maybe they just didn't pay attention to? Because Chris is really ridiculous, and I'm having a hard time believing that he can really hide his level of ridiculousness. I'm really, you know. But anyway, so, you know, Dr. Viviana came, and then they were just talking about, like, how can we even start over? Because you're not even doing simple things like calling and texting or whatever. And then Chris is talking about, well, we can go out to dinner, and Paige was like, why even answer for all of that? And Dr. Viviana was like, was she asking for all of that? She's talking about a simple phone call. You talking about going out to dinner. So they, I guess, came to some kind of conclusion. Okay, this is what we're gonna do, you know, to at least restart, do a real restart or whatever. And so then they decided, you know, Chris and Paige, you know, now it's funny because Paige seemed like she's doing all the work. Chris seems like, listen, you know, I really want to be here. The producers are making me here. If I'm going to get my little coin, build my Instagram numbers, I need to show up. Because Paige is doing all the work. Paige is sitting down. She's, oh, wait, stop. I'm sorry. Let's go back. When Dr. Viviana was there, Paige is talking about, well, you know, again, throwing God under the bus. Can God get from under the bus? Continually to throw God under the bus, talking about, no, I'm willing to make it work because, you know, and then throwing all the scriptures and all the God quotes that we use. And I'm just like, really? Like, child. So anyway, so at the end of the day, so now they're writing down all these like different things they can do, and they decided, okay, so Chris, now they're gonna have a Bible study. So now they decide to get together. They were gonna have this, you know, have dinner over Paige's house, because Chris clearly let us know that this is your place, this is not my place. So he brings over the food, and basically that's it. Like, I'm bringing over the food. I'm doing what I have been told to do by the background. So I'm bringing the food, and now you're gonna have to do everything else. So now Paige got to come up with the prayer. So now she got to pray, hold hands. He don't want to hold hands. So now they hold their hands to pray. Then Paige got to come up with the Bible study. So she got to come up with the scriptures and everything like that. And Chris ain't doing nothing. Chris, why are you there? Just say. And then Dr. Viviana was just like, girl, you can go. Like, you don't have to be here. Like, we are giving you, these other couples, they're going to be in it. But you and your circumstances, you can go. But Paige is like, no. Again, throwing God under the bus. And no, God and God and God and God and God and God. And so here we are. So now, you know, after they're reading the word, which is so ridiculous to me. That whole Bible study scene is ridiculous. But anyway, so they're going through their little Bible scriptures and yada, 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 and back and forth. And so now, here we go. Because you know, this scene couldn't be that simple without the mic drop, okay? So Chris tells Paige that, you know, he had a situation with Mercedes years ago. She was in an accident. She really can't drive. Thank God she's still here. And she's been doing a lot of Uber, I guess, ride shares and things of that nature. And, you know, I really want her to be okay. I want her to get around. Now, from my point of view, Chris could have just said, I bought her a car to make sure she can get around. But no, Chris being Chris, I bought her a brand new Benz. So that's flexing, Chris. Chris, we know you got franchises. We know. We know that you can afford a nice car. But to actually tell her, like, you're trying to disrespect Paige. You're trying to be mean. You're trying to be that guy that's like an a-hole. You're trying and you're succeeding, because now we're letting Paige, you can't even do simple things like a phone call or a text with Paige to fulfill your contract on the show, but you could buy people whole Mercedes and things of that nature, which is his business because it's his money. But you don't have to bring that to me. You don't have to tell that to me. You could just say, because even Paige said, listen, I understand, you know, that you got her a car because you don't want the mother of your child. But the fact that, the bottom line is this. The fact that Chris knows that Paige is willing to stick around with all the shenanigans he has said and done, he now can do anything he wants because there's no consequences at all. Paige is not holding him to the fire at all. So pretty much he's like, what else can I get away with? What else can I do? What? Oh, I can do this too? Let me try it. Oh, I'm going to do that too. And I'm going to do that too. And that's pretty much what's going on. The reason why he is so absolutely insanely ridiculous is because Paige is giving him, she has paved the road. She has painted the yellow lines in the road. She has paved the way. And now Chris is just driving down the road and doing whatever he wants to do, letting her know things. He's not putting her feelings into the equation at all. He's not cautious about her feelings. He's not concerned about how she feels. He's just letting it out there like, oh yeah, I bought a Mercedes, brand new. 2035. I mean, I don't know what it is, but child. Anyway, so we don't know. So, you know, there we go with them, child. You know how I feel when it comes to Chris and Paige. I think they paid actors. I really, really do. I think they got their SAG card. They got something, because I don't know anybody who is like Paige. Now, I know some Chris's, but I don't know many women like Paige, because usually, but you know one thing I do know. The old people always say, everybody gets tired. Paige just ain't tired yet. So when she gets tired, she's going to do what she needs to do. But until then, we're just going to see how this goes and see how this continues to play out. So guys, that's the end of the review. That is the end of the review. But I thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in to my review. And if you want, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I would really appreciate it. I'm growing my channel, and this is so much fun just to share my thoughts, my views, my common sense on what's going on in these reality streets, okay? So again, this is Jane B, aka the Common Sense Diva, and until the next time, bye.